हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। हरे कृष्णा माता जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji. Welcome to the ICF Forum, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So I'll start with a small kirtan, then we'll.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा राधा मुरलीधर राधे जय राधा रमणा राधा रमणा राधे जय राधा माधव राधे जय राधा विनोद राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा सुभद्रमाई जय सुदर्शन जय गौरनिता जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिता जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल प्रचकाचर स्तोत्र सदासम श्री जगन्नाथ सभा चरण भक्ति संस्कृत प्रपाद महाराज की इसकॉन सब का जय श्री प्रपाद महाराज की जगत गुरु श्री प्रपाद महाराज की कृष्ण कृपा श्री प्रपाद महाराज की जय ओम विश्वपाद परम से प्रचकाचर स्तोत्र सदासम श्री जगन्नाथ भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की अनंत कोटि आचार्य वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिगोवर्धन की वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की मायापुर जगन्नाथपुरी द्वारका धाम की गंगे मैम रमाई की तुलसी भक्ति देव की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रपाद बुक all glories to assemble duties all glories to assemble all glories to assemble duties all glories to all glories Shri Guru Shri Gaur Premanandi Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome to all devotees for today's Srimad Bhagavatam session Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. So now we'll be taking from the 4th canto 12th chapter 26 to 30. So we'll start with the prayer. मम ज्ञानातिम्रान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितां येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकं मह्यं ददाति सुपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगुणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगुणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते उपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वांछा कल्पतरुष कृपा सिंधुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवयां भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी हरे कृष्णा can the screen be shared?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Rohini Mataji. Hare Krishna. Kindly share the screen, Mataji. Thank you,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
visible?
Yes, Hare Krishna. So 26 shloka. अनास्थितं ते पितृभिरन्यैरपि अङ्गकर्हि चेत् अतिष्ठता जगतां वन्द्यं तद्विष्णो परमं पदम् अनास्थितं ते पितृभिरन्यैरपि अङ्गकर्हि चेत् आतिष्ठ जगतां वन्द्यं तद्विष्णो परमं पदम् अनास्थितं ते पितृभिरन्यैरपि अङ्गकर्हि चेत् आतिष्ठ जगतां वन्द्यं तद्विष्णो परमं पदम् word by word meaning translation purpose Srila Prabhupada ki jai anatishtam never achieved te your pitrubhihi by forefathers anyai by others api even anga o dhruva karhichit at any time atishta please come and live there jagatam by the inhabitants of the universe vandyam worshipable that Vishnu of Lord Vishnu paramam supreme padam situation translation my dear King Dhruva neither your forefathers nor anyone else before you ever achieved such a transcendental planet the planet known as Vishnu Loka where Lord Vishnu personally resides is the highest of all it is worshipable by the inhabitants of all other planets within the universe please come with us and live there eternally. So the devotees can read the purport. Who is there in the queue?
Vasudha Mataji, you can read the purport, Mataji. Sudha Mataji, you can call out the names, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vasudha Mataji, read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes.
When Dhruva Maharaj went to perform austerities, he was very determined to achieve a post never dreamed of by his forefathers. His father was Uttanapada, his grandfather was Manu, and his great grandfather was Lord Brahma. So Dhruva wanted a kingdom even greater than Lord Brahma could achieve, and he requested Narada Muni to give him facility for achieving it. The associates of Lord Vishnu reminded him that not only his forefathers but everyone else before him was unable to attain Vishnu Loka, the planets where the Lord Vishnu resides. This is because everyone within this material world is either a karmi, or a gnani, or a yogi. But there are hardly any pure devotees. The transcendental planet known as Vaikunta is especially meant for devotees, not for karmis, jnanis, or yogis. Great rishis or demigods can hardly approach Brahmaloka, and as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmaloka is not a permanent residence. Lord Brahma's duration of life is so long that it is difficult to estimate even the duration of one day in his life, and yet Lord Brahma also dies, as do the residents of his planet. Bhagavad Gita 8.16 says, Abrahma Bhuvanal Lokha Punar Avantino Arjuna. Except for those who go to Vishnu Loka, everyone is subjected to the four principles of material life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. The Lord says, Yad Gatva na nivartante antadhama paramam mama. The planet from which once going no one return is my supreme abode. Bhagavad Gita 15.6. Dhruva Maharaj was reminded, you are going in our company to that planet from which no one returns to this material world. Material scientists are attempting to go to the moon and other planets, but they cannot imagine going to the topmost planet Brahmaloka, for it is beyond their imagination. By material calculation, traveling at the speed of light, it would take 40,000 light years to reach the topmost planet. By mechanical processes, we are unable to reach the topmost planet of this universe, but the process called Bhakti Yoga, as executed by Maharaj Dhruva, can give one the facility not only to achieve the other planets within this universe, but also to reach beyond this universe to the Vishnu Loka planets. We have outlined this in our small booklet, Easy Journey to Our Planets. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Om Agnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmritamana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we are in this chapter of Dhruva going back to Godhead, and so we have seen earlier how he has had the darshan of the Lord after his very, very severe penance, and with great devotion, with lot of meditation and with lot of dedication, he did that tapasya, just because his mother said that if you have to find a better happiness, and if you want to get that kingdom which you are desiring for, although it was a material desire, but she just egged on him that anything the Lord can give if you are meditating and if you pray to him, if you do the tapasya. So he simply followed his mother's instructions, and he went to the Madhuvan forest, which is actually part of Vrindavan. Among the 12 forests in Vrindavan, Madhuvan is also one of the forests. Even now it is there. Of course, now it is all completely inhabited by the people. A lot of the forest cover is not there much, but we can still see the place, the dham, where Dhruva did the penance. A little hillock kind of a thing is there, and there's a temple dedicated to Dhruva, and also the Lord Vishnu also in his 400 form, even that is there. So it's a Narad Muni is there. So it's a wonderful place, and there we can have darshan, and we can see the real potency. So many Babas and sannyasis, they are staying there continuously. They are doing the meditation, and they are getting the benefit. So that way, although we are in the material world, but still the Lord has given this opportunity to continue our spiritual practices. So that's the best part. As Bhagavatam itself says, Kalardeshe Nidhi Rajan Asti Ekod Mahatguna Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Parambrajet. So although Kali Yoga is full of problems, full of troubles, but still there is one good thing in this Kali Yuga. What is that? Just by simply chanting the holy name, you don't have to do any other big efforts, big havana, homa, sacrifice, yagnas, or meditation. Nothing. You don't have to do. Even you don't have to even visit the temple. Wherever you are situated, at your home, if you are there, you can make your home a temple. And the mind is such a powerful organ, or the sense instrument, that with the mind, the power of the mind is so much that you can actually see God, you can reach God, and you can interact with the God. So that much power is there. Lord has given that. So wherever you are situated, you can still be associated with the Lord, the devotees, and achieve your goal of life. So that is the beauty of this bhakti yoga, and especially now in the Kali Yuga, this is the Yuga Dharma, the chanting and remembering. So that has to be practiced. Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So these combination of it itself is enough for one to attain the goal of his life. So here, this all, I mean, these episodes which are there in Bhagavatam, and this happened in the early creation itself. And Prahlad Maharaj, before Prahlad Maharaj come, Dhruva Maharaj has already come. And Dhruva Maharaj, the age of very early age, at the age of 5 itself, he has achieved that qualification of reaching the back to Godhead, go back to the Godhead. So it's all instances which gives us the impetus, which gives us this encouragement as what is the potency of the of this bhakti yoga. So this all can give us little thoughts and little inputs, so that we can also practice. We can also devise our sadhana chart, and on a daily basis contemplate on this sadhana chart, and then we can see the progress what we are doing, and then slowly we can you can achieve to this kind of a platform. So that's why Prabhupada always was mentioning, as always was stressing on this fact of devotional service, the bhakti yoga. So we have to take this opportunity very serious note. So now in this chapter, it begins with actually in the previous chapter we understood that how Dhruva Maharaj had to fight with his own relatives, and then yakshas and all that. And then finally he's pacified, that he should not have done this. I mean, this is all part of the Leela, that he had to do it. And then finally amongst the yakshas, the head of that was actually the Kuvera, who is now the master, or the treasury, who's taking care of the material world's treasury, and all the money opulences. So he actually begged with Dhruva Maharaj, and then he said that Master of Treasury Kuvera said, "Oh, sinless son of Kshatriya, I'm very glad to know that under the instruction of your grandfather, you have given up your enmity, although it's very difficult to avoid. I'm very pleased with you. Actually, you have not killed the yakshas, nor have you killed your brother, for the ultimate cause of generation and annihilation is the eternal time feature of the Supreme Lord." So again, he's linking it with the Lord's Kala Chakra. As per the Kala Chakra, this has to happen. So, and you have been instrument in doing this, and you have achieved your task. Now it's the time that you can go back to your original position. So like that, he actually prays and begs with Prahlad. And misidentification of oneself and others as I and you on the basis of bodily concept of life is a product of ignorance. The bodily concept is the cause of the repeated birth and death, and it makes us go on continuously in the material existence. So this is the philosophy that he is giving. All this happened the fights, everything happened, misunderstanding, everything is because of misidentification of I and you on the bodily concept. So once you have the bodily concept, that means you are bound by this repeated birth and death, and it goes on continuously in this material world. So we have to come out of this I and you, mama, or basically the false ego which is there. The false ego has to be curved in such a way that the real ego is that to become servant of the Lord, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jiver Swarupai Nitya Krishnera Das. So that is the ultimate goal of our life, and that is how we should mold our life in such a way that we become servant of the Lord. Otherwise, in all the other circumstances, in the false ego situation, we always want to lord over the nature. We always want to possess something. We always want to enjoy something. So like this, we always I comes into my family. Everything comes into picture. But here, it's a it's now in the spiritual world, or if you have to go to spiritual world, that you should be considering you or Krishna, or on whatever I'm doing activities should be for the pleasure of Krishna. Samsiddhim haritoshnam. So that should be the mood and way of service. And finally, he says, my dear Dhruva, come forward. May the Lord always grace you with good fortune. Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond our sensory perception. So he is the one who is waiting for you. And he says that you will go back to the, he gives that benediction or that prophecy that you will go back to the spiritual world. So in that way, then he disappears. Then Dhruva comes back to his his kingdom, and after he comes back, he ruled for about 36,000 years. I mean, we have seen that in the previous shlokas. How, and he also made sure that all the austerities are performed so that there is no inauspiciousness in his royal kingdom. So finally, it came to that point that he had to go back to the material world, and for that, Lord had to create a separate planet for him. So that was the super benefit that Dhruva got at such an early age because of his steadfast devotion unto the Lord. He just simply followed whatever his guru said. Narada Muni, actually, before he went to the forest, he met Narada Muni on the way. Again, by the providence of the Lord, Narada Muni had to come and give him the instructions as to what he is supposed to do. And then, as we see that in Badrikashrama, Dhruva Maharaj's senses became completely purified because he had bathed regularly in the crystal clear purified water. He fixed his standing position and by yogic practice controlled the breathing process and air of life. So he's doing that meditation again completely, and this is the time that he had to go back. So as soon as the symptoms of his liberation were manifest, he saw a very beautiful airplane coming down from the sky, as if the brilliant full moon were coming down, illuminating all the 10 directions. So here Nanda and Sunanda, the two confidential associates of the Lord, so they came and then they said that, dear king, let there be all good fortune into you. Please attentively hear what we shall say. When you are only 5 years old, you underwent severe austerities and thereby greatly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now we are the representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator of the whole universe, who carries in his hand the bow named Sharanga. We have been specifically deputed to take you to the spiritual world. So like this, glorification is there. In the previous shloka, we saw that it said that to achieve Vishnu Loka is very difficult, but with your austerity you have conquered. Even the great rishis and demigods cannot achieve this position. Simply to see the supreme abode, Vishnu planet, the sun and the moon and all other planets, stars, lunar mansions and solar systems are circumambulating it. Now please come, you are welcome to go there. So that is the shloka we saw yesterday. And today is that, again they're telling that, my dear Dhruva, in Dhruva, neither your forefathers nor anyone else before you ever achieved such a transcendental planet. The planet known as Vishnu Loka, where Lord Vishnu personally resides, is the highest of all. It is worshipable by the inhabitants of all of the planets within the universe. Please come with us and live there eternally. So Prabhupada gives in the purport that how Dhruva Maharaj, he actually is a son of Uttanapada, and Uttanapada's father is Manu. and Manu's actually is a Prajapati, Swayambhu Manu, the first Prajapati, and he came from, he is the son of Brahma. So as we know that this is a material hierarchy, and none of them, even Brahma, could not achieve this kind of a the Dhruva Loka or the pole star position, whereas because Brahma, his abode is Brahma Loka, which is amongst the 14 planetary systems, the topmost. So only that much he could achieve. And here the great grandson is glorified that he got something even his forefathers also could not achieve. And now you have achieved it. This is the Vishnu Loka where Vishnu resides. So so then Prabhupada says that everyone in this world, most of the people are either a karmi, gnani, or a yogi, but there are hardly any bhakti yogis. So that position cannot be achieved by ordinary people. Only the supreme transcendental abode can be achieved only by the bhaktas, by doing devotional service. And Prabhupada also mentions that Lord Brahma's duration of life is so long, it is difficult to estimate even the duration of his life. Yet Brahma also dies because he's a part of the material world. So even he has an end. So Brahma's life is calculated at 311 trillion 40 billion years. So you cannot even imagine. So 1 trillion means it will have 15 zeros, one followed by 15 zeros. That is a trillion. So we have a million, which is 6 zeros. Then you have a billion, which is 9. And then trillion actually is 9 plus 12, actually 12 zeros. So that much is the life of Brahmaji. So that much time it takes for him. And even for him also, there is the end. So Brahma's life is calculated like this. We have 4 lakh 32 years in Kali Yuga, and we have 8 lakh 64 in Dwapara Yuga. And then we have 12 lakh 96 in Treta Yuga, and then 17 lakh 28 in Satya Yuga. So all these 4, if you add it, it will become 43 lakh 32, 43 lakh 20,000. So that into 1,000. So every yuga, once it goes 1,000 cycle, it becomes a Divya Yuga. So that is actually 4.32 billion. That is 4 followed by 9 zeros. 4.32 followed with which has 9 zeros. Then that is the day, and the night is double. So it will become 8.64 billion. And this 8.64 billion is just one day, like how we call 24 hours. That is the time of one day. And that into 360 into 100 years. You have to, that into 30 or 360 days for 1 year. And then into 1,000. If you add it, it will become 311 trillion 40,000 years. So that much long his duration is. And you cannot even imagine this kind of a number. And now Brahma has already finished 50. He's in the 51st year. Brahma's. We are in the 51st. Vaivasvata Manu. Dvitiya Prarde. So that is what we are in today. So another 49 years to go. And then the next creation will happen. So Prabhupada gives this example that Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartina Arjuna. And then Mamapetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. So what is that shloka saying? That the living entity, from the highest planet, the material, to the lowest, all places are places of misery. And the soul keeps loitering in this, keeps moving around, and birth and death keeps taking place. But the one who comes to me, one who comes to my abode, Mamupetya tu Kaunteya, Punarjanmana Vidyate. So once he comes to the spiritual abode, that for him there is no birth and death, and he can stay there. And same thing, the shloka is also there in 15.6. Natad bhasate suru nashashankana pavakaha yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramamama. In the 15th chapter also, it is mentioned that one who in this place, in the spiritual world, there is no sun and there is no moon and there is no pavaka or the air or the fire, but it does, or electricity, but it does not mean that it's not there. The sun, moon may not be there, but the effulgence of the Lord itself is there, which will keep the entire planet, the spiritual world, always 24 hours by 7 or by all the 365 days. It will be bright, brightness, bright sunshine, and there is no question of darkness. So that is the beauty, and there is no hunger, there is no miseries, there is no unhappiness. So like this, the spiritual world is full of auspiciousness and full of all positive things. So the entity, the living entity, the moment he goes there, he can completely enjoy. He can always remain in 100% happiness, and then he completely can engage 100% engagement in the Lord's service, so that he don't have to. Nothing comes beyond that. No other desire, material desire will come, or it will be everything spiritual desires, and that way he can stay there for continuously. So once he goes there, yat gatva na nivartante. Once living entity goes there, achieves that spiritual body, he can never come back. So that is the beauty. I mean, that is what is the focus of Prabhupada also. That is what has been tagline, back to Godhead. None of the acharyas before had given this kind of a message that you achieve, you finish your sadhana, you do your bhakti yoga, you can go back and then go back to Godhead, and you can eternally remain there. But Prabhupada was so much empowered, so he could give this message as a pure devotee. He could give, and he is now making a lot of devotees achieve their goal of life. So Dhruva Maharaj was reminded, you are going in our company to the planet from which no one returns to the material world. Material scientists are attempting to go to the moon and other planets, but they cannot imagine going to the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, for it is beyond their imagination. And even by calculation, it will take so much of speed of light. Speed of light, I think it will take about 40,000 light years to reach the topmost planet. So now today, a lot of scientists, I mean, India also, they declared that they had landed on the moon. They had sent the rover on the moon, and so many things they're declaring. But actually, it is all not. It's all bogus. Nothing is possible. It cannot go for some millions and millions of kilometers. There are just so many areas in this space, in the space itself, that there are like Trishanku Swargas. This Trishanku Swargas are the places where, or it could be some asteroid or something. Some planets are there, which are stationary, and at the most that they'll go about few 1,000 kilometers or 100 or maybe 50,000, 20,000 kilometers above the Earth's stratosphere, and then they'll park the vehicles. That's it. So even today, we could see that when they declared it has landed on Mars or Moon, whatever they said, they never showed the actual video. It was only the graphics they were showing. Even America declared this in 1960 itself, 64 itself, they declared Neil Armstrong and Aldrin Aldrin, they had landed on the moon. But that's all bogus. That's all which was done in the desert of Arizona. It was just a filmized in these studios, and it was put later on. Now today we can see that it's all was a bogus. Now the people who went there only have declared that it was a bogus. So everybody is trying to fool another country. It was that time, it was the war between Soviet Russia and America, and both wanted to prove their technology brilliance and all that. So by their egoistic tendencies, they were all declaring, but it cannot happen. So what you're Prabhupada is trying to say is that mechanical process we are unable to reach. But the same thing, reaching to that abode, can happen provided we use our subtle senses of the mind, intelligence, and the false ego. With this facility, we can actually go there, because that is actually the spiritual essence. The spiritual essence is actually coming from our soul. The soul is a pure spiritual matter, and the soul has that capacity to go back to its original abode. Of course, right now it is covered by this material energy and living in the material environment. It is actually losing its power. But the Lord given the facility, we call this the Atma as the marginal potency. The marginal potency of the Atma means that it can it can either it can either go towards the material energy side, or it can go to the spiritual energy. It can hover between the two kind of fields. So a person who engages himself in the devotional service 100% can go to the spiritual world just by using his mind, intelligence, and false ego. So this is what Prabhupada is telling, that in fact now recently we saw one ashram, Swamiji ashram in Tumkur in Karnataka. They are actually Mayavadis, but still that Swamiji was telling that they're training about 150 to 250 children, and they are trained in such a way that they can see the future, or any kind of an skill which is required. If somebody wants to do a building construction, just by using their mind power, they can learn that art. If somebody wants to do stitching, or something want to do any other activity which involves certain skill, they can learn it, and they can use it, and they can also predict what is going to happen in future. For this person, what will be the next his destination. So like this, all these things by yogic processes, this calculations, they can actually predict. In fact, we have seen so many videos where children, by even they're blindfolded, but still they can read the playing cards, or what whether it is spade or it's a clover or whatever it is, these numbers they can tell you, although they're blindfolded. And they can read some books although they're blindfolded. So how is it possible? That is the mind's, the intelligence, the brain's capacity, which is innate, and it can, although material is covered, but on the platform of the spiritual energy, on the platform of the atmas, the spirit soul, that energy it can read. That energy has the power to see. It can see beyond the material things, adokshaja. So like that, it can see beyond the material things, and that can possible only if you're able to concentrate. You can use your spiritual atma, the spiritual spark which is there in the atma, and if you used it to its full potency, we can actually read this, and we can actually tell whatever is going to happen. So that's what Prabhupada is telling, that, and this is what is mentioned. Can give on the facility not only to reach other planets within the universe, but also to reach beyond this universe to the Vishnu Loka planets. We have outlined this in our small booklet, Easy Journey to Other Planets. So here Prabhupada is giving about all this. Even he has mentioned about the landing in the moon, all that in this Easy Journey. How the previously yogis and meditators and people engaged, the pure devotees of the Lord, could create or could create a path that they can go back to the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. So we'll go to the next shloka, 27. Someone can read the shloka and purport.
Hare Krishna. Soma Mataji, you can read the shloka. Kripamai Mataji, the translation, and Anita Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare.
Hare Krishna. प्रवरम् उत्तम श्लोकमौलिना उपस्थापितम् आयुष्मन् अधिरोधुं त्वमर्हसि. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible from Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. And translation by A.C. Prabhupada Kiji. Translation. Immortal One, this unique aeroplane has been sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is worshipped by selected prayers and who is the chief of all living entities. You are quite worthy to board such a plane. Thank you, Prabhuji, Mataji.
I shall read the next one, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Who is reading the purport? Hare Krishna. No one is there. I'll continue. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. According to astronomical calculation, along with the pole star, there is another star which is called Shishumara, where Lord Vishnu, who is in charge of the maintenance of this world, resides. Shishumara or Dhruvaloka can never be reached by anyone but the Vaishnavas, as will be described by the following shlokas. The associates of Lord Vishnu brought a special airplane for Dhruva Maharaja and then informed him that Lord Vishnu had especially sent this airplane. The Vaikunta airplane does not move by mechanical arrangement. There are three processes for moving in outer space. One of the processes is known to the modern scientist. It is called Kapota Vayu. Ka means outer space and Pota means ship. There is a second process also called Kapota Vayu. Kapota means pigeon. One can train pigeons to carry one into outer space. The third process is very subtle. It is called Akasha Patana. This Akasha Patana system is also material. Just as the mind can fly anywhere one likes without mechanical arrangement, so the Akasha Patana airplane can fly at the speed of mind. Beyond this Akasha Patana system is the Vaikunta process, which is completely spiritual. The airplane sent by Lord Vishnu to carry Dhruva Maharaj to Shishumara was a completely spiritual, transcendental airplane. Material scientists can neither see such vehicles nor imagine how they fly in the air. The material scientist has no information about the spiritual sky, although it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Paras Tasmatu Bhavonya. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so as in this, Prabhupada is giving very clearly so much of information on the kind of space or the spaceship which is required, that by mechanical arrangement it is not possible. You cannot go to the Vaikunta because it's a spiritual world. And that is how we have seen many times when the astronauts, when they have gone there or when they're coming down again back to the Earth. Kalpana Chawla, for example, in 1996, when the Challenger spacecraft was there, it actually burnt in the midair. They were all, video screening was going on, live relay was going on, and while as soon as it entered the material space, it actually burnt, and then they were all, killed. So like this, so many mishaps has happened because the atmospheric pressure and the kind of environment which is here in the material world is actually totally different to which is there in the other stratosphere. It's totally different. Actually, it's very cold as it goes beyond 100, 200, thousands of kilometers. The Earth atmosphere, beyond the Earth atmosphere, it is very cold, and an object which is actually having some energy comes into this in that cold region, it actually can happen. Physics knows. Physics people will know that how reactions can take place. And now in today's circumstances also, there is we have an Indian astronaut and then one again foreign astronaut. They're actually stuck in the spaceship. From last 6 to 8 months, they are not able to come. They are stuck in that one of the Trishanku Swargas, or the place where they have landed, kept the spaceship, because the aircraft which has to come down from that is not working. So the landing gears or whatever it is, it's not working, and they're stuck. So they're not able to come down. They might be about a few thousands of kilometers away from this Earth atmosphere, but they're stuck. There is no way that they can come, and they're continuing their research or whatever it is. And there is also a claim that they will send another aircraft so that so that they can come back. But still, it's all not certain. Nobody knows what is going to happen. So this is the situation. By mechanical arrangement, at such a small distance only, they are facing so much of problems. You can imagine how they can travel millions and millions of kilometers. It is not at all possible. Everybody is trying to fool each one, especially in the political and in the when it comes to geopolitical issues. All these politicians are just making some claims. So our Prabhupada gives that there are three processes in which we can still go to this space, and by even the modern scientists also may know about it. He says the spaceship, and then through the pigeon. I mean, this is very surprising how you can train a pigeon and it can go to outer space. In fact, in the earlier days, pigeon was the communicator. Pigeon was, all the messages were being sent through pigeons. So pigeon was the carrier, like a postman it was doing, and it could locate the exact location. There was an art in which the person tells the pigeon, talks to the pigeon, and then tells this location, this place you have to go and deliver, and it was doing it. So now that art is lost, actually, or maybe so like that. This all were possible. How? Because the telepathy, the message which is transmitted by one mind to another mind, it was possible in those days. So whereas now those subtle things are actually getting eroded. And the third one is Akasha Patana. Akasha Patana is also material. So the mind can fly anywhere one likes without mechanical arrangement, as the Akasha Patana airplane can fly at the speed of mind. So this is the Vaikuntha process, which is completely spiritual. So in this way, Prabhupada is mentioning very clearly that that material scientists don't have a clue of this spiritual knowledge, because they have not understood the spiritual at all. They are not in agreement with the spiritual existence at all, and they are only thinking of material things. So it is like this: when ladies, when they put the braid of the hairs, actually, when you see the braid which is already put the hairs, and if you see, it appears that only there are two portions of the braid, which is the hair which is there, and the complete hairs. It looks like that, the braided hair, the jade, what we call this thing. But whereas actually we know that when the hair part is taken, the ladies, they take three parts. Actually, the three parts are folded in such a way, one by one, one after another. Then it is actually the hair is braided. Then only it comes properly. But for the when you see on vision, you can only see two. So where is the third one gone? The third portion. Actually, that is the spiritual nature. So that's how the Lord has created this world. The spiritual nature, nobody can see. It's not visible from my eyes. It's not visible. No, we cannot perceive it unless you engage your mind and services through the super energy of the Lord. That's what Prabhupada has mentioned, that parastasmatu bhavo anyaha. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'll go to the next sloka, 28.
Hare Krishna, Aditya Mataji, you can read the shloka. Shabanu Mataji, translation, Barnali Mataji, purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maitreya Uvacha Nishamya Vaikuntha Niyojamukayor Mukhayor Madhuchutam Vacham Urukrama Priyaha Kritabhisheka Kritanitya Mangalo Munin Pranamyashisham Abhyavadayat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat. The great sage Maitreya continued, Maharaj Dhruv was very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he heard the sweet speeches of the Lord's chief associates in the Vaikuntha planet, he immediately took his sacred bath, dressed himself with suitable ornaments, and performed his daily spiritual duties. Thereafter, he offered his
Hare Krishna.
We can't hear you, Mataji.
Mataji, we can't hear you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sudha Mataji, you can continue. Mataji, you
Okay,
can
Hare
read.
Krishna Mataji. Yeah. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great sage Maitreya continued, Maharaja Dhruva was very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he heard the sweet speeches of the Lord's chief associates in the Vaikuntha planet, he immediately took his sacred bath, dressed himself with suitable ornaments, and performed his daily spiritual duties. Thereafter, he offered his respectful obeisances to the great sages present there and accepted their blessing. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. purport by Srila Prabhupada. We should mark how dutiful Dhruva Maharaj was in his devotional service, even at the time he left this material world. He was constantly alert in the performance of devotional duties. Every devotee should take his bath early in the morning and decorate his body with tilak. In Kali Yuga, one can hardly acquire gold or jeweled ornaments, but the 12 tilak marks on the body are sufficient as auspicious decorations to purify the body. Since Dhruva Maharaj was living at that time at Badarikashrama, there were other great sages there. He did not become sages there. He did not become puffed up because the airplane was sent by Lord Vishnu was waiting for him. As a humble Vaishnava, he accepted blessings from the sages before riding on the plane brought by the chief of the Vaikuntha associates. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Yeah, very good. So here, how Dhruva maintained his all these spiritual practices, that he took bath, sacred bath, and then he, with the suitable ornaments, and then he put on the tilakam. That's what Prabhupada also is mentioning, that these are the daily activities. By doing this, we can actually externally body also is getting purified. It is also getting freshened up, and also internally also we have to purify by chanting the holy names and taking prasad. So like this, every devotee should take bath early in the morning and decorate his body with tilaka. So we have the 12 marks which we put, and this tilaka is called the Urdhva tilaka. In Vaishnava philosophy, it is the Urdhva tilaka, means we actually take the tilaka which goes up. We start from the bottom and then take it up. So that way, Urdhva means it is going to the northern region, or the higher upper spheres, upper loka. So that actually means the Vaikuntha loka, where actually our soul, we want to carry our soul to the higher planetary systems. That's the reason why we take it as Urdhva. Urdhva means going north direction. So that is how we put. Whereas if you see the other sampradayas, or Mayavadis and Shaiva sampradaya, they put vibhuti, and vibhuti they actually put it horizontally. So the type of the message what gets from the itself, we can make out that they want to actually stay in this material world, or they want to, or they actually, or not going, they don't achieve, or don't aspire to go up. They don't aspire to go to the spiritual world, because their knowledge is also very limited. When they put which is horizontal, and that means acharyas say that they'll be just loitering in between this material world, and at the most they can reach the Brahmajyoti, and then the Brahmajyoti is again just the effulgence at the edge of the spiritual world, and edge of the material world, and beginning of the spiritual world. And then they will not find a solution there, happiness, and they will come back to the material world. So that way they keep going up and down, Brahma Bhuvana Loka. And there are some other Shaktas and other devotees who actually put round bindi kind of a thing, red or whatever different colors. So for them, their understanding is that they want to stay in this material world. So they cannot go neither up nor here, there, nothing. They just are okay with this material world, because that is their understanding, and that is how they, mostly the demigod worshippers, always put a round tilak. So like this, just by the looking at the tilak itself, we can make out what is their mood and what is their goal of life. So whereas in the Urdhva Pundra Tilaka, we actually want to go higher, to the higher planetary system, or to the spiritual world. And also we consider that Tilaka as the lotus feet of the Lord, the two lotus feet. And below that, in Gaudiya Vaishnava, in our ISKCON, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we also put a tulsi, which is on the nose pad. So on the nose bridge, we also put a tulsi, because wherever the Lord feet are there, is our symbol. Symbolically, we assume that Lord is there situated, and then we want to keep a tulsi. So that's how we decorate in our Vaishnava Sampradaya, and especially in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So that Prabhupada tells that this itself is sufficient, that you can you're become you're making your body purify just by putting the 12 marks is sufficient. And since Dhruva Maharaj was living in the Badrika Ashrama, there are so many great sages So he did not get puffed up because, oh, Lord has sent him and he's going back to the spiritual world. He's something great, a great soul. He Param Vaishnava. No, he was as a humble Vaishnava. He accepted the blessings and then he boarded to the aircraft, spiritual, the Pushpaka, or the Vimana. Yeah. Hare Krishna, we'll go to the 29th, no?
Hare Krishna. Now, Kishori Mataji, you can read the shloka and shloka. Divya Mataji, the Divya Desai Mataji, the translation, and Divya Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Paritya Drishna Yagram Parshada Vandya cha Iyesha Tadadishtantum Bibra Drupam Hiranyamayam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Before getting aboard, Dhruva Maharaja worshipped the airplane, circumambulated it, and also offered obeisances to the associates of Vishnu. In the meantime, he became as brilliant and illuminating as molten gold. He was thus completely prepared to board the transcendental plane. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mata, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport Krishna. Is it from here only in the absolute?
Yeah, in the absolute world. Yeah.
Okay. In the absolute world, the plane, the associates of Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu himself are all spiritual. There is no material contamination. In quality, everything there is one. As Lord Vishnu is worshipable, so also are his associates. His peripheral, his aeroplane, and his abode for everything of Vishnu is good. As Lord Vishnu, Dhruva Maharaja knew all this very well. As a pure Vaishnava, and he offered his respects to the associates and to the plane before riding in it. But in the meantime, his body changed into spiritual existence, and therefore it was illuminating like molten gold. In this way, he also became one with the other paraphernalia of Vishnu Loka. Mayavadi philosophers cannot imagine how this oneness can be achieved even in different varieties. Their idea of oneness is that there is no variety. Therefore, they have become impartialist. As Shishumara, Vishnuluka, or Dhruvaloka are completely different from this material world. So, a Vishnu temple within this world is also completely different from the material world. As soon as we are in a temple, we should know very well that we are situated differently from the material world. In the temple, Lord Vishnu, his throne, his room, and all other things associated with the temple are transcendental. The three modes, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, have no entrance into the temple. It is said, therefore, that to live in the forest is in the mode of goodness, to live in the city is in the mode of passion, and to live in a brothel, liquor shop, or slaughtering house is in the mode of ignorance. But to live in the temple means live in Vaikuntha Loka. Everything in the temple is a worshipable as Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here Prabhupada is also giving us the clarity as to what is the spiritual world and material world. So moment the airplane came, or airplane, although we assume that it is something material, but actually it is not material. Airplane which came from the spiritual world is also spiritual in nature. Like for example, in the spiritual world, there could be rock, there could be sand, there could be water. Everything is spiritual actually. They're all living entities there in the spiritual world when compared to the material world, where these are all called jada, or which are not movable, or something which is matter. But there in spiritual world, everything is having a spiritual nature, unlike in the spiritual world. So that's how Prabhupada is mentioning that. That's how when Dhruva got into the he was about to get into the spiritual plane, immediately, and with the associates there, he actually transformed his material body into a spiritual body. It became like a gold, and he was illuminating. And then he was, he got a spiritual existence. And that is how Mayavadis or other people, other philosophers, they cannot understand this. For them, everything material they consider that as material. Even the spiritual nature also they consider it as material. They cannot see the difference between spiritual and material, and that is how they languish. Whereas Prabhupada mentions that in a temple, for example, ISKCON temple, wherever Prabhupada, when he constructed the ISKCON temple, he was always telling that this temple is like a Vaikuntha Loka, because here none of the three modes of nature will affect, because the Lord is residing there. All items what is there in the temple also becomes a spiritual. Like it could be a kartal, it could be a microphone, it could be a a water jug. Everything becomes spiritual, because it's all used in the service of Krishna. It's all used in the temple. So everything gets that into that mode of spiritual nature. So you cannot take that as a material thing, or it's another modes of nature. So that sanctity Prabhupada brought in the temples. And the moment you are saying that you are going to a temple or living in a temple, ISKCON temple, means he said that it is Vaikuntha Loka. So that is how you should treat, and you should interact in the material world. Hare Krishna. We'll go to the next sloka, 30.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Barnali Mataji, you can read the sloka and the translation. And Suma Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranams. Taduttana putro dadarshantakamágatam mrityurmurdni padam dattva arurahadbhutam griham. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When Dhruva Maharaj was attempting to get on the transcendental plane, he saw death personified approach him. Not caring for death, however, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death, and thus he got up on the airplane, which was as big as a house. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranams.
Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. To take the passing away of a devotee and the passing away of a non-devotee as one and the same is completely misleading. While ascending the transcendental airplane, Dhruva Maharaj suddenly saw death personified before him, but he was not afraid. Instead of death's giving him trouble, Dhruva Maharaj took advantage of death's presence and put his feet on the head of death. People with a poor fund of knowledge do not know the difference between the death of a devotee and the death of a non-devotee. In this connection, an example can be given. A cat carries its kittens in its mouth, and it also catches a rat in its mouth. Superficially, the catching of the rat and the kitten appear to be one and the same, but actually they are not. When the cat catches the rat in its mouth, it means death for the rat. Whereas the cat catches the kitten enjoys it. When Dhruva Maharaj boarded the airplane, he took advantage of the arrival of death personified, who came to offer him obeisances. Putting his feet on the head of the death, he got up on the unique airplane, which is described here to be as big as the house, Graham. There are many other similar instances in Bhagavata literature. It is stated that when Kardama Muni created an airplane to carry his wife Devahuti all over the universe, the airplane was like a big city, carrying many houses, lakes, and gardens. Modern scientists have manufactured big airplanes, but they are packed with passengers who experience all sorts of discomforts while riding in them. Material scientists are not even perfect in manufacturing a material airplane. In order to compare to the plane used by Kardama or the plane sent from Vishnu Loka, they must manufacture an airplane equipped like a big city with all the comforts of life, lakes, gardens, parks, etc. Their plane must be able to fly in outer space and hover and visit all other planets. If they invent such a plane, they will not have to make different space stations for fuel to travel into outer space. Such a plane would have an unlimited supply of fuel, or like the plane from Vishnu Loka would fly without it. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
I think Prabhuji is not there. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji is not there.
He's not there. I think he got disconnected probably.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu has not yet joined Mataji.
Yes, Mataji is not.
Does anyone has Prabhu's number, contact number, so that they can call
There's a
him?
message. There's a message in the chat box. Someone is trying to call him.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
I
Krishna,
think,
Prabhuji.
yeah, there is some problem with my phone, and I could not actually. So I think the purport is read, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So I think we almost come to the end of this session. This is the last shloka. So
Shall I
here,
again read, Prabhuji? Should I read the purport again?
no, purport was read.
Yes, Prabhuji, read complete.
Yeah, then it is fine. Then it is fine. I'll just conclude with this last shloka. Yeah, so here, very interesting aspect that we can see here is that when he was about to board the transcendental plane, he saw death personified when Dhruva saw. So even Prabhupada is telling that passing of a devotee and a non-devotee, and how it is same is completely misleading. When you're on the transcendental plane, if he saw death personified, that means he was not afraid. That means death was personified also is taking his blessing, or is not come to take away his soul, but actually he's taking his blessing because he's going to the spiritual world. So that way, Prabhupada says that instead of death giving him trouble, Dhruva Maharaj took advantage of the death's presence and put his feet on the head and on the head of the death. People with poor fund of knowledge do not know the difference between death of a devotee and death of a non-devotee. And gives the example how the cat, when it has to bring its kitten, when it holds in the same mouth, but it is so soft, nothing will happen to the kitten, although the teeth is sharp as well. But the same thing when the cat attacks a rat, it is in very fierce, angry mood, and it is such a rage that it can kill the rat by clutching the teeth. It is so sharp and it can tear the rat. So like this, although the teeth is there as a weapon, but it is used in a when it comes to the loud ones, it is used in a very softer way, and it is protecting actually for the kitten. But for when it used in a very harsh way, it can actually kill any other entity. So that is how this death is also compared here with. And since it's a devotee who is leaving his body and he is going back to the spiritual world, so the death also took a blessing. It took paid obeisances to him. And so Prabhupada gives that how material scientists are not even perfect in manufacturing material airplane. So compares how Karna Muni, and he created as a perfect yogi, he created a big city in the space. In the third canto we study. So all these were there possible just by the power of the mind. The power of the mind was so powerful that people are able to, the telepathic messages itself can create a whole entire planet, provided you have that capacity. So that is the power of this yogic practices, or a person who is actually become a devotee of the Lord, that he can get all these siddhis, and he can become he can actually manufacture even the material things can be manufactured in a spiritual way. Hare Krishna. So with this, I'll end today's session. If anyone has any clarifications, doubts, they can raise it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There are no raised hands, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful session.
Hare Krishna.
Shall we end with the prayer, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavnebhyo namo namo ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhuji, thank you
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna Prabhuji,
Dandavat
Dandavat
Pranam.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all
Well,
Mataji and Prabhuji.
Thank you Mataji.
Shall
Hare
I end
Krishna.
the session?
Yes.
Prabhuji?
Yes Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.